My name is Lilian, and I'm a farmer. But I wasn't always a farmer, and I never loved farming. And coincidentally, I work for an organization known as SERVIR, which connects space to village, and I come from the village. And as I said, I'm a farmer. And farming in the village was actually very hard. It was not very enjoyable because it's not mechanized, and planting was hard, and weeding was hard, and harvesting was even harder, and everything was tiring. So life was so hard back in the village, and the yields were exasperating. It was so frustrating that after all the backbreaking work, you get such low yields. And growing up, I knew that I never wanted to become a farmer. I wanted to have a fancy job. But then I'm a farmer, so it's really funny because I never wanted to do this. I wanted to get away from that life and, do something fancy, go see the world, and here I am. So I discovered the ultimate selfies, the satellites, and I discovered that there's a world out there, and there are so many eyes looking at us from space. And there is so much that we can do from that, and I realized that I could make a difference. But the first thing that I did was to tour Mars. And then I could go through Mars, and then I discovered that I could tour the moon, and I came back to Earth and realized that I could make a difference. And I started by going to Google Earth and zooming to my home. This is my home. This is my father's lorry back there. And I realized that for me, the sky is not even the limit. I could do so much more, and I could make a difference to my village. So I decided to become a farmer because back home a catastrophe was happening. The need to feed a growing population in a changing climate, maximize production, produce more corn to make maize, which is our favorite meal, was a major challenge. And climate is changing. In our major food basket areas, rainfall is reducing, and we work in a rain-fed system. And so we were having more frequent droughts. But what does drought mean to you? In my village, crop failure in terms of maize and wheat meant a lot of serious things. It meant that there would be no school fees, which was not so bad because we could go out and play, so it wasn't bad. It meant no food for some people in the village, which was also not so bad. But then it meant we could not get new clothes for Christmas because there was no extra money, and that was catastrophic. That one I could not deal with. And back home in Kenya, a lot of investments are being made for agriculture. 1.8 trillion has been set aside for the climate adaptation plan. But then the farmer is toiling too hard for too little. In this year alone, in the 2018-2019 budget, the government set aside 20.3 billion shillings towards improving agriculture and food security, improving food and nutrition. So the question is, we're investing too much in agriculture, but what is it that we are doing wrong? There's so much investments. We are doing the same thing and expecting different results. And we need to change our mindset. And the next, the question, it has me asking myself so many questions. We have climate projections. What would we do differently if we knew how the climate would change? If you knew what tomorrow held, how would we do our agriculture differently? Would we diversify, intensify, change, improve, transform, or transition our agricultural systems? If we could anticipate that change and plan in advance and act, how would we act differently? And these are the questions that I'm asking myself, and they form part of my personal research to see how do we do things differently? How do we change this same song that has become old? And, looking at the past, looking at the present, looking at the future, and trying to understand how the climate is changing. For example, most of the projected climate scenarios project more rainfall for our country. What does it mean for agriculture? Does it mean that some areas are more suitable for production and some are more suitable for diversification? And I'm working with a project that is called SERVIR, which is a chance to make a difference. And for me, it's not just a job, it's a chance for us to make a village to African agriculture. And this is by improving the capacity in the region to use space technology to fight extreme events, to improve agricultural production, inform crop insurance, and conserve our rangelands, which constitute 80% of the country. And so for me, SERVIR is not just a job, it's a chance to make a difference. Thank you.